Friends, in 2024 an Irish film was released named The Oddity. The word oddity means a strange thing. This film falls under the genre of horror thriller. Maybe you remember that in the year 2020, another horror film was released named The Caveat. It was a deep, dark horror film, and people liked Caveat quite a lot. An Irish director named Damien McCarthy has made both these films. The secret of the story in The Oddity is revealed at the end, so you probably have to watch the film till the end. Do you like its twist? It is a simple story in which only a few elements have been used. The story of the film begins in a village in Ireland. We see a woman named Danny O'Dell who is renovating her house. Danny's husband Ted is a psychiatrist who works in a hospital. This house is very old and located in a place where the phone network does not work properly. For the last few days, Danny has been working alone to repair this house. She often finds a spot in the house where she gets a signal and calls her husband to talk to him for a while. Before nightfall, she brings some essential items from the car to the house but forgets her phone there. She sets up her tent near the door and goes to sleep. That night, someone comes to the door, a man named Olin, one of whose eyes is artificial. He had been a patient of Ted before, which meant that Olin's mental condition was not good. Olin tells Danny, "You should open the door because your life is in danger. Someone has entered your house." Danny is scared of the man and refuses to open the door because it is madness to trust a stranger. This man named Olin is talking very lovingly, and his expressions also show that he cares for Danny. He tells Danny, "If you don't trust me, then call the police. If you don't, you will be killed." After listening to him, Danny knocks at the door and moves on. Now, it is not shown whether she opens the door or not. However, we are shown another scene in which Olin is brutally murdered. We also come to know that Danny was also killed that night. Someone murdered her brutally. It could definitely be Olin for whom Danny would have opened the door, and Olin, being a madman, might have killed her. We have all seen so many movies that we can guess Olin was under the influence of some evil power and killed Danny, and then the same evil power killed Olin too. But is this the truth? This secret will be revealed in the story later. Now we are shown a time after a few months where Ted, Danny's husband, comes to an antique shop. This shop actually belongs to Danny's twin sister Darcy. Darcy was blind since birth and was also a psychic. She is very sad about her sister's death. Ted often visits her, although he does not believe Darcy's strange talk. Darcy claims that she can feel things that have a human connection. At this time, Ted has a vine in his hand and says that this was a part of a boy's life, but on the day he died mysteriously, she could feel him through the vine. Ted actually came to give her something. Darcy asked Ted for something special about Olin so she could find out why Olin had killed her sister and what he was thinking at that time. Ted gives Darcy his handkerchief. During the conversation, Darcy also learns that Ted is now dating another girl, although it has not been long since her sister died. Darcy does not reveal what happened but must have felt bad. Ted says that her name is Yonna and she used to work in our hospital. Earlier, they were just friends, but now he needs someone. After this, Ted leaves. In the evening, Darcy returns to her house. She has brought Olin's handkerchief with her. She places it on a table, takes off her glove, and feels something when she touches it. She sees something that frightens her, and tears come to her eyes. Then she goes to her storeroom where there is a big wooden trunk. Darcy starts looking at it and then sits in front of it. There is some strange stuff lying in the room. The director has also given a reference to his film Caveat here. Ted wakes up from sleep the next day after showing a rabbit, gets ready, and goes to the hospital. He is about to leave, but Yonna shows him some pictures. This camera was actually Danny's, which Yonna got. The camera had a time-lapse option set on it so that it could take pictures by itself. Last night it took a picture, and Danny's shadow was in that picture, even though it has been a long time since she died. Ted works at night, so Yona has to stay alone in that house. This is the same house where Danny died, so she is scared of staying alone. Ted says that she just has to adjust for a few days, but Yona says no, she will stay in her apartment until his shift changes, to which Ted agrees. Yona was about to leave today, but before Ted leaves for his work, Yona tells him that last night, Darcy had sent a strange gift. It was the same wooden box. They were even more surprised to know that Darcy was standing outside. Well, they brought her inside. No one had invited Darcy, yet she came. She wanted to stay there for a day or two. Yona was not interested in this, but Ted did not refuse. Although Yona had to go and so did Ted, Darcy still wanted to stay. There was a gift in that wooden box, a very strange doll made of wood, which Darcy gave to Ted. Ted gave it to Yona. He says that as soon as Darcy leaves, he will remove the thing. Till then, just bear with it. Ted leaves, and after some time, Yona is about to leave but loses her car keys somewhere. She tries a lot to find them, but cannot. The keys are not found. Darcy was sitting there comfortably as if she already knew what was going to happen. Not finding the keys, Darcy asks Yona, "Are you not going to leave now?" Yona is forced to stay back. The wooden doll which was in the trunk is now sitting on the dining table on a chair. Yona asks, "Did you take it out?" Darcy replies, "No." In the evening, Yona brings some food for Darcy, and then both of them talk. Yona asks Darcy about her work. Hearing this, Yona does not believe it and, in her heart, makes fun of Darcy, thinking she believes in witchcraft like a witch. Darcy asks, "How do you feel in this house?" Yona replies, "Nothing is very good. It seems whatever happened to your sister." Darcy asks her, "If a stranger asks you to open the door, will you open the door?" Yona replies, "I am not that stupid." Hearing this, Darcy gets angry and says, "My sister was not a fool. She did not open the door. In fact, it was Olin who killed her. This was the work of someone else." Hearing this, Yona asks in surprise, if a madman like Olin did not kill her, then who did? Darcy replies, "Ivan." Ivan was actually a nurse who worked in the same hospital as Ted. Olin was a patient, and Ted was the doctor. Yona feels very strange after hearing this. However, we are shown a scene from the past, the night when Olin came to Danny's door. Here, it is revealed that Danny never opened the door. When Olin came to help, Danny was attacked by someone, a masked man, who brutally murdered her. Before going to bed, Yona calls her husband Ted to tell him that Darcy is acting strange. She is in their apartment. Ted did not leave because she lost her keys, and Darcy may have stolen them. Yona says that Darcy claims that her sister Danny was killed by Ivan, not Olin. Ted calms Yona down and tells her that he thinks she should just close the door and go to sleep. But Yona still cannot sleep. She comes out of her room and looks down to see that Darcy is sleeping on the sofa. Yona secretly goes to the wooden statue and starts examining it to uncover its secrets. There were 5 holes in the head of the doll. Yona starts looking into the holes. In one, she finds a picture of Darcy and Danny, in another, a tooth, and in the third, blood. Yona is about to look further when Darcy wakes up and angrily tells Yona to put everything back. Yona complies and puts everything back in its place. Here, the story becomes a bit confusing because it is unclear whether this is connected to some ritual or something else. So far, nothing unusual has happened. Darcy spends the whole night in front of the effigy, but Yona is unable to understand anything. Scared, she starts watching the footage recorded on Danny's camera. She sees a terrifying face in the footage. Then, she sees Danny's ghost in the corner of the room, which scares her. Yona finds the car keys that Darcy had hidden. She leaves the house straight away. In the hospital, we are shown that Ivan and Dr. Ted are friends, so it could be true that Ivan killed Danny. After coming home, Ted sees that Yona has left. He goes upstairs and finds Darcy sitting there dejectedly. When he asks about it, Darcy tells him that Yona ran away. "I wanted to reveal your truth to her, but my sister's ghost scared her," Darcy says. She accuses Ted of getting her sister killed. "You are in love with Yona. You just wanted my sister's property, which she had already transferred to your name. I kept thinking that some mad person killed her, so I sought revenge on Olin, but he actually wanted to save my sister. I know you will send someone to kill me, but it would be better if you send that killer here." Ted says, "How can you even think like this? How did all this come to your mind? If you doubt me, then let's go talk to the detective who was working on Danny's case." But Darcy doesn't believe him. Ted leaves, saying, "I am keeping this phone here. I will call him so that he can tell you everything." Ted walks away, saying, "You've got to pick this up as soon as the phone rings." We are then shown a scene where Ted was planning Danny's murder with the help of Ivan. Ivan was a mad and crazy person. He enjoyed all this. Ted was only interested in money. Ivan killed Danny based on Ted's advice. The question is, where does Olin come into all this? It is true that Olin's mental state was not good, but apart from that, he was a good person, not a murderer. He had heard the conversation between Ted and Ivan, which is why he went to save Danny that night. She did not believe him, and because of this, she got killed. But one secret is still not revealed: who killed Olin? Yes, Darcy mentioned it, but how did she go to a closed room in the hospital? This will also be revealed. While leaving, Ted had taken out a tile from the floor so that as soon as Darcy moved forward to pick up the phone, she would fall down, and this is what happens. After going to the hospital, Ted assigns Ivan the task of killing Danny's sister, Darcy, as well. Ivan happily agrees. Ted had already dialed the call on his phone. As soon as Darcy moves forward to pick up the phone, she falls down. When Ivan reaches there, his eyes first fall on the wooden doll and then on Darcy, who is badly injured. Darcy soon dies due to excessive bleeding, but here a new twist comes up because supernatural things also happen in this film. Darcy already knew about her death. A ritual was performed, and the wooden mannequin suddenly comes to life and attacks Ivan. When Ivan wakes up, he is tied to a hospital bed, and Ted is standing in front of him. Ted accuses Ivan of murdering Darcy. Ivan begs that he won't tell anyone anything and just wants to be left alone. But Ted says that suspicion will fall on him for not recognizing a mad person like Ivan, and who will believe that a wooden mannequin came to life and attacked him? Ted was a very deceptive man who cunningly used people, even his wife Danny. Now Darcy is also dead, but she punished her enemy. She could have killed Ivan, but she did not do that, she punished him. When Ivan was a nurse, he abused many patients. This was not shown directly in the movie, but it can be guessed from some sources. In the end, a patient cuts Ivan's finger to take revenge. At the end of the film, Ted returns home and picks up the bell that Darcy had told him a story about. He rings it, but nothing happens. This makes him realize that maybe there is nothing supernatural. Yona also left Ted. Perhaps Darcy was successful in her revenge by ruining Ted's life. But in the end, we are shown a bellboy near Ted, and the movie ends here. Friends, the deep meaning of the movie highlights the dark side of human nature, deception, and the desire for revenge. Darcy's story shows how grief and revenge can drive a person to take dangerous steps. This film can compel you to see how supernatural elements and human emotions combine, blurring the boundary between reality and deception. We hope you liked our video.